Hello everyone, my name is Ken Wang. In this video, I will talk about the privacy in blockchain. Um, First, let's talk about privacy. Privacy is actually a fundamental rights, constitutional rights of everyone. As you know, in US, there is First Amendment talking about the privacy, and also in Privacy Act continue further on the uh, privacy needs and regulation as well. So in in this talk, I will just define what is privacy in the blockchain. Basically, in blockchain, the privacy means the transaction sender and the receiver, and also the transaction amount should be hidden, should not be on the public. So that's usually the privacy requirement that most of privacy coin or privacy protocol is doing. Um, so by this definition, some top uh, 10 blockchain or coin in the coin market cap does not really meet this requirement. Take example, Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know the address, the public address of the sender and the receiver, and how much coin is sent from one to another. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and all the top coins in the coin market cap, they are pseudo-anonymous. Basically means that all the transactions open, but the address, who is behind this public address, is unknown. So it's keeping a little bit of anonymity, but it's not fully anonymous. Every address, like if I send you my address for you to send me Bitcoin, and from then on, my address is known to you. You can see every transaction from the past and from the future on this address. This is one thing. Another thing is through the big data analysis, behavior analysis, it's very possible that someone, some agency or government agency or some companies can basically decipher who is behind that address. That happens for good reason with Mt. Gox. As you know, the Mt. Gox as the first Bitcoin exchange get bankrupted because of the security breach. So eventually that one, the thief was caught because of some behavior analysis on the address, on his Bitcoin address. So this is only one example, but there's lots of examples. People basically can decipher who is behind the Bitcoin address if there's some frequent transactions. And even the hierarchical deterministic wallet, the idea of HD wallet is every time it can generate the different address given the same private key. But even with that, there's a way that people can decipher the people behind it. So for this reason, there is a need for the privacy coin. Without endorse those projects or coins, I give some examples of coin currently in the market. The first one is Monero. Monero's idea is the same, is trying to basically encrypt the address of both the sender and the receiver, and the amount is sent. So the exact technique to use is to using the stealth address, basically hiding the address or one-time address, using the one-time address to hide the sender's address. So if I send you the Monero, you give me your address, and I will send you Monero, but that Monero is using just one-time generated address. So the stealth address is able to basically encrypt or protect the sender's address, so it's not public. And also it's using what is called the ring signature. Basically the idea of the ring signature is mix a whole bunch of signatures, so you don't know whose address it is, whose private key signed the transaction. So it's using the ring signature to really hide the sender's address. So stealth address is encrypted the receiver's address, receiver, and the ring signature is hide the sender's address, and then the amount which is transferred between the sender and the receiver is encrypted by the what is called the ring signatures, ring CT, right? The confidential transaction. So using this three kind of technology, and also using different kind of mining algorithm called crypto night algorithm, it has built its own reputation as a privacy coin. Another one is also kind of like Monero. It's using coin join and other techniques to hide the address for the transaction parties, and also the amount is dash. And after that, people may know Zcash, which is using zero knowledge proof. So in small kind of scope, zero address is basically I can prove to you who am I without revealing to you who any details about myself. So it's basically I can prove what is true or not true without giving you any knowledge. So it's zero knowledge proof. So it's basically used by true or false. So it basically say if it's zero or not, if or ranging proof, if it's between which range. So that is really useful also in hiding the sender's address, the receiver's address, and also the transaction amount. So zero knowledge was very popular when it's launched. It used to be has multiple times more expensive than Bitcoin when it's launched, and so gradually it's get to its current price. There's issues with the algorithm it uses currently. It's called ZK Snark. The idea of ZK Snark is basically to need initial trusted setup. So you have to have a centralized party to have an initial setup. Then you can use zero knowledge. But what if someone holds this master key? Then every transactions he can decipher it. So there is a ceremony with a zero knowledge or Zcash community to destroy this private key, but it's really hard to know if it's destroyed or not, because it's really a central party doing it. So in Ethereum, there is some algorithm called ZK Stack. It's basically in terms of memory and process, it's improved a little bit, and also it does not need a trust setup. So that one potentially will be used by Zcash and also used by Ethereum 2.0 or 3.0 because Vitalik is really talking a lot about this, about ZK stacks as well. So that's zero knowledge proof. Recently, there is a private coin gain a lot of attraction from the community. It's called Grin, Grin. It's basically has a Harry Potter's kind of story behind it. The one who wrote the white paper about the security protocol or encryption protocol called Mimble-Wimble. Has the name Voldemort. Voldemort, as you know, it's a character in Harry Potter. So he wrote this white paper, and he disappeared. And some initial core developers on the Mimble-Wimble or the Green project also people really don't know who they are. But now it's already like on the mainnet. People already kind of mining on it. There is lots of mining power on it. Some exchange already listed the coin. So the key idea of actually the green is trying to do the same thing as to protect the sender and the receiver and the amount. And it's using the protocol called Mimble-Wimble, but in nutshell, it's trying to combine or mixing the signature, kind of like mixer, right? And also trying to compress the transaction so that you don't know who are behind it. And another way is it's the first time it's both address the privacy and the scalability. As you know, the Zcash and Dash, also the Monero, it's a little bit slower because you have to do extra step of encryption. But this one, it do the encryption as well as kind of like compression, if you really want to compress the transactions. So it's achieve a little bit of the scalability. So this is why it's gaining a lot of attraction. What I predict is the top coins in the coin market will gradually adopt privacy. So then the reason people will ask why you actually need the privacy, right? There's many reasons. The first reason is in order for you to really achieve the big mass, people really want to have their privacy protected. That's the basic human needs, right? You don't want to have your transaction, like every transaction to be published on the ledge. That's what Bitcoin, Ethereum currently is. So that's the basic needs for the whole ecosystem. Another thing is really the regulation require the protection of the privacy, like GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation in Europe, or in US, the Privacy Act. In China, there is also privacy control regulation. So privacy is important, and also most important is really we are going from centralized data store, which Facebook or Google, which is really the monopoly of the centralized data. It's also becomes the target of the hackers, like Cambridge Analytics, right? So there's lots of breaches even in 2018. Lots of breaches, large-scale breaches on the centralized database. Now there's a movement because of the blockchain technology. The data need to belong to the citizens, to the end users. So basically the data now you will not be stored in the centralized place. Will be stored in your own cell phone example, right? So you will be control of your own data, and people can only access your data through smart contractors. They have to pay you to get your data, and the data has to be protected. So that's the privacy concern coming from. What if your data is not protected, although it's saved? So the privacy coin really should address this concern as well. It's not yet address this concern. So even data is in your own possession, or maybe on the chain or off the chain, it has to be somehow to be encrypted. So that is a movement. It's the basic needs for the privacy. So having said that, I think the privacy protocol or privacy coin or the whole technology of privacy in the blockchain is an essential element. It's more important in some cases than the scalability, although scalability is important. Maybe in next video cast, I will talk about the scalability, but privacy is most important. Thank you everyone for listening to me. If you have any comments, let me know. Thanks.